Hello and welcome to Reaching the Summit on Business RadioX. We are broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. I am Don Conklin, along with Teresa Conklin, and every month on Reaching the Summit we will meet successful business leaders who have climbed the mountain and reached the summit in their profession. We will talk to them about their journey, the challenges they faced, and the lessons and insights they have learned along the way. Reaching the Summit is presented by Pinnacle Custom Signs. Get a more elevated look with your business signage. Visit pinnaclecustomsigns.com. Today, our guests are Brett DeLoach, who is the general manager here at the Sonesta Hotel, and Tim McConnell and Brandon Wolfe from RoofServ. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here. So, let's open up the questions. Teresa, you want
to? Brett, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Sonesta and Sonesta brand?
Yeah, Teresa, I'd love to. Don, thanks for having me this morning. We, in the course of 24 hours, have doubled our brand size. We had 57 hotels on the 29th, and on the 30th we brought on 100 more not new properties, but properties that converted from IHG hotels to Sonestas. Sonesta has recently added another, I guess you call it brand. We have our full-service Sonestas, our Royal Sonestas, our ES Sonestas, which are extended stay, and as you know, this one's a dual property. And we've brought on a new brand called Simply Sonesta, which are the Candlewoods and some of the Residence Inns that converted over. So very exciting time for us. As you know, probably not the most well-known company in the world because we're not the Hiltons or the Marriotts. However, Sonesta has been around for 80 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's and again, not a huge brand, but we are starting to expand. And then February, we're actually taking on another 98 properties that are Marriotts that will convert over. So we go from 57 to about 300 in a couple of months during the pandemic. So a lot of excitement in our company. There's still some worries about when is the business going to come back, but at this time, we're extremely excited and glad that we were one of the 15 full-service hotels that was able to stay open during the pandemic. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's been a challenge, but we're thankful.
It's amazing the growth, though.
I know, isn't that fantastic? So, yeah, a lot of opportunities. So in Atlanta, there will be 6 Sonestas throughout the city. Actually, 4, about 7 of us now, so it's great to have that. So we'll actually have our own little cluster here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because a good friend of mine works at the corporate headquarters for IHG.
Yeah.
And the Crown Plaza, which is their main brand, which is sitting right in front of their corporate hotel, is going to be a Sonesta.
Well, it was, and I think, Don, I think that they worked a few things out to make that stay on their side. But we were excited about having a beaual property there.
Yeah, they just renovated it.
Yeah, $50 million I think they put into the property, so actually absolutely beautiful. But we did convert the Crown Plaza at the airport, which is now full service Sonesta North, and then the Holiday Inn, which is a little south of that at the airport, so it's now Sonesta Atlanta Airport South. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, do you know what the history of this building is, and what's the claim to fame for this building?
Part of it, yeah. And if I go woo real loud, will that be it? I'm not really sure if that's it or not about the history. But let me.
Well, he told me as we were pulling in today.
Oh, did he? Okay.
So, well, it's just what is the claim to fame of this building, Mike? Do you know? Anybody here know? This is the tallest building in Gwinnett County.
Yes. I did know that.
Ever since it was built some 20-something years ago. It's kind of amazing that, and what are we, 15 stories, 17 stories?
16 stories, yeah.
That no other building in a county as big as Gwinnett has been built that's bigger than that. It's kind of amazing, but, it's a little trivia fact that not a lot of people know. You can play with your friends in Gwinnett County. You know that one. So Tom and Brandon, tell us a little bit about your business and how you guys started. How long have you been in business doing this with as RoofServ?
Yeah, we had the really great idea to start our business earlier this year, right after COVID hit. So we broke ground.
March 1st.
Yeah, March 1st we started. So we had a bunch of people quit their jobs to join us on this journey, which seemed like a great idea at the time, and it's turned out to be a fairly great idea, now. We started with 8, and we've got 36 employees now.
Wow.
We're $5 million in our first year, so that's bootstrapping it. That's out in the field for Tom and I running the company in the early morning, and then throughout the day, being out in the field and trying to grow this thing. And we're, causing a huge disruption in the market. So absolutely proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the optimistic one. I was very pessimistic because March 1st, when we started hearing about that stuff, and then when it landed in the United States, the whole COVID thing, I was like, oh my gosh, we just invested all this money into the company. We're brand new. How are we going to get through this? And he's like, oh, we'll be fine. He's like, this is great. Everyone's home.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking at
for
their
us,
roof to see
yeah.
that needs to be repaired.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
funny you should say that, because last month we had a painter on, one of our friends who has a paint business. He said the same exact thing. He says people are looking at their walls when they're sitting at home, and they're like, I need to get that painted.
yeah,
Yeah, now's the time to act.
exactly.
So Teresa and I started our business from scratch 9 years ago. Well, 9.5 years. It's almost going to be 10 years this year. Almost amazing. So, but we always say to people who are starting their new business that buckle up, because the first 2 years will be 2 years of hell. So how was your first 9 months of hell?
It's honestly been a blessing. Like, it's gone better than what I like I said, I'm the pessimist. I was like, yeah, I just thought it was going to be a lot harder because my dad, he started his own business and said the first couple years, get ready. And then when COVID hit, I was like, all right, here's that, whatever,
Right.
all that wise wisdom that everyone's been telling me. But really, it's gone so smooth. And part of it is because me and Brandon are so just immersed into the business. Like, we've been working 6-7 days a week, and we were good at it before we started. And we also, went to there in roofing. There's not a lot of college graduates. It's kind of like just a known thing. It's skilled trade, things like that. Well, we went to UGA, got our business degrees, and when we got into roofing, we were like, hey, let's take a different approach with this. And we got a lot of college grads, and it's just made things easy, and just a good group of our guys that do the roofs are top notch, and we pay them a lot to do really good work.
Oh, great. That's interesting. So tell us a little bit about your background before you started this company earlier this year.
Yeah, so we're UGA grads, go Dogs, and we were in the corporate world before this. Tom and I have known each other for 15 years, met in ninth grade of high school, went to college together, lived together, had our corporate jobs where we sat right next to each other, so we did a similar thing. Tom worked in the skilled trade, and I was on the nurses and scientific side. Something we were really good at, just not passionate about. So that kind of led into when we left that business. We got together at Tom's house, without a job, without anything lined up, and we just got to brainstorming. And we spent about 7 or 8 days just coming up with some of the worst ideas you can imagine. So we've immortalized that chalkboard, and we hang that in our office, because what could have been isn't, and what is just fantastic in this incredible opportunity. So weren't always aimed this direction, but man, we're sure glad that we landed here. So
what's the craziest thing on the chalkboard?
craziest thing on the chalkboard, it's at my house right now, and we're moving it to the office. I think Sea Burgers is probably the weirdest thing.
Sea Burgers, that's got to be the top one.
And what is a sea burger?
So we're into health and fitness,
Okay.
and just hunting, fishing, that whole thing. And we wanted to create a fast food chain that, instead of having beef burgers, because everyone's on these vegan kicks and all this stuff back and forth, we were gonna make like salmon and tuna burgers, and just call the whole place Sea Burgers. So
I mean, it could, you
know,
never know.
If somebody does it, they owe us,
Yeah.
some T-shirts at least.
So Brett, how long have you been here at this hotel?
It will be 3 years in February.
Great. And so, how long have you been in the industry?
30 years. I started as a bellman. Was in college, needed a job, and had a career fair at the hotel. I wanted to be behind the front desk, and young ladies, no, you need to start as a bellman. So I started as a bellman, and I'll tell you how I landed here. 30 years later, I get a LinkedIn invite, and I recognized the first name but not the last name. I kept going, she looks familiar. It was the young lady that hired me as a bellman. she's now the vice president of human resources for Sonesta, and she had reached out. And what a small world that we live in, right? Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It is.
Started out up in Philadelphia and worked my way around, and so it came here. I don't know, 8 years ago. Was at the DoubleTree in Tucker. Managed that for 6 years, and then came over here. So it'll be almost 3 years in February.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what makes the Sonesta brand different from your Marriott's and your IHG brand?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think it's our team members. We have what's called our culture of caring, and a lot of care goes into the team. We try to make sure the team's well taken care of, because that'll reflect back to the guest. And happy team member, happy guest, and the guest returns. In our industry, it's all about, for Sonesta, for us, it's about, well, gosh, I didn't realize that was even a Sonesta. What is a Sonesta? Those kind of things. But once we get people into the door, the service that we deliver, in my opinion, is probably the best that you'll get, even around the city. I mean, our banquet team does a great job. We've got a great culinary team. Sales team is awesome, and it's just getting the awareness out there of what we do, and that how good we are at doing it. So that's what makes us special.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about the culture at RoofServ?
Yeah, I mean, that was something we really wanted to invest in. We knew culture for younger people, a lot of the people that work with us are, that millennial type thing, and you can get burnt out just doing the 9 to 5, or just everything's monotonous. So we really invested heavily into that. So we have like a really fun office. We have a pool table, dartboard, TVs everywhere, playing ESPN. And we do a lot of company outings. I mean, like, we're doing company outings probably once or twice a month. And then, we have that whole work hard, play hard type mentality. And like at the end of the year, whoever hits a certain thing, we're all going on, this is for next year, we're all going on like a Cabo trip, the whole team, things like that. I mean, it's been a blessing to be able to have that in place. It is an investment into culture. So yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves in that.
Yeah, we also have a triple tap kegerator full of nitro cold brew coffee. So if you want a salesperson performance enhancer, you do 1 or 2 cups of that. It's something that was oblivious to us until we got it, and then people will drink it and they'll just be geeked out. So
it's intense.
It makes for a more passionate salesperson.
We have a kegerator, but it's full of the traditional stuff, and we do it in the afternoon.
Gotcha.
So, but hey, it's life in the big city.
And we have a Starbucks up the street, so.
Yeah.
So what's the secret sauce? I mean, it's an incredible story. If you guys do $5 million in your first calendar year, it's absolutely, you don't hear of many small businesses that open up and do that. So what do you attribute it to?
We can't give you the secret sauce.
We'll tell you a little bit about the recipe, though.
No, that's fine.
So really, I mean, this roofing is no new thing, especially the insurance aspect of it that we take. Everybody's trying to play the same game and just, outgrind each other. I think for Tom and I, we realized early on that everybody was kind of sick and tired of the am I getting taken advantage of, on the residential side. Do I need to do a ton of research to feel good about trusting these guys? And something with our business is we don't charge upgrades. We do the best possible system no matter what, whether it's low paying, whether it's high paying. We just feel like when we're making commitments and people are trusting us, we might as well do the best job we can, even if the money's not always there. And that's led to a tremendous amount of referrals. And we filled the gaps where our team needs us. Tom's wife, he actually just got married last year. She was deployed shortly after to Iraq. So with COVID going on and Tom being a newlywed and his wife being shipped overseas and serving our country, he's devoted 12 to 14 hours a day for the last 10 months, which I'm sure you couldn't do if she was home. But
that's ending Saturday. She gets back Saturday. So no more.
Congratulations.
No more laptops in my bed at 11 p.m. going through payroll and all that. So
yeah, and the fun thing is Tom hasn't told her much about the entirety of our success.
She doesn't know.
So when she gets back,
she doesn't really know.
Yeah.
She's like, "How is everything?" And I said, "It's good. It's going good. We're just keep chugging along." She really doesn't know.
Well,
gonna be funny.
we haven't shut the doors yet. Don't worry about it. We'll make it.
Yeah. It's gonna be funny when she gets back, and so she's gonna be joining our team as well.
Oh, great.
She's gonna be working full time with us.
So where does what's your service area, and where do you get all your customers are insurance referrals, or what's the
I'd
deal
say
there?
about 95% are insurance. We do a great job, so people that want to forego that route, they'll pay out of pocket for their roof, and we'll absolutely not turn them away, and we'll do a great job for them. But yeah, about 95% are insurance, and our service area is primarily Swanee, Johns Creek, Alpharetta, Milton. And really, there's no hard stop on where we'll go. If someone needs our help, we'll come out there.
Yeah, we've done work all the way down in Macon, Griffin,
Even Birmingham, Wilmington,
North Georgia, South Carolina. So we cover a wide variety.
And is it commercial? Is it commercial and residential?
Yes.
Okay.
Mainly residential on
Right.
on the insurance side. It's at least in this region, it's hard to have a severe enough storm to damage like a flat TPO roof. It can happen though, but
Yeah.
it's not as common.
Got you. So, Brett, back to you. As far as the shift in the hotels that we just talked about earlier, that's obviously a response to the whole pandemic market. So I guess Sonesta sees the glass half full, and the other guys are trying to conserve cash. Is that the read on that, or what?
Well, so we manage the property for a group called RMR, and they own 300 or 400 hotels, and then I think all the Travel America truck stops throughout the country are theirs as well. So we manage the portfolio for them. And then when they had some run-ins with IHG, that's how they said, well, we'll just convert them over to Sonestas. But I admire them a lot. While we did, probably like a lot of hoteliers had to do, we went from 103 team members down to, I think our lowest at one point was 20. And then we've brought back, we're up to 38 now. It's very, I don't even like to talk about it a whole lot because I'm a little emotional. But anyways, it's been a rough year. A third of our occupants, so we're at 20% occupancy for the year, where last year we were running 66. A third of our total revenue of what we were last year. So if you take that as a company at 50, well, just do the full service, at 15 full service and everybody's down, a third of the revenue from last year, makes it extremely challenging. So it's just been really hard for me to deal with. Some of the team members that we had to furlough, and then it unfortunately went into separation, had been with the company for 30 and 35 years. And we're hoping to bring them back soon, try to stay in touch with as many people as we can. It's just, if the business traveler is not traveling, it's very hard for hotels, to really make it. We can still, we still get local guests and things like that, people coming in from out of town, but it's been extremely challenging for everybody. So, but the company's done a great job of making sure that trying to get everybody taken care of, and showing, and they really care, and we all care about them. And it's just been a rough year. Been a rough year for me. Hardest one I've ever been in the 30 years that I've worked. I mean, whole 9/11 wasn't good either, but this is something that I'm hoping in second quarter next year. I hope that we get back to.
Well, it just doesn't
normalcy.
seem to ever end, and that's what's frustrating, I think, to me at least.
Right, we
about
get
it.
close, and then boom, there's a spike again. So I mean, we've had to do things like we could sit 500 people in our ballroom for a dinner or whatnot. Now we're down to max 160 with social distancing, and all buffets are now served by my team members, and everybody wears masks and gloves, and there's the guards are up. And however, the people the guests that are having their functions, their weddings, we had a meeting yesterday for 45, are all telling us that they're ecstatic that we're here, that we're open, and the team's doing such a good job, and which to me is great. It's good to have that little business. We're getting excited. Last night, and we have 300 rooms in my full service tower. We did almost 100 last night, and we've only done over 100. 4th of July, Labor Day, bigger holidays. normally it's 30 rooms a night, 40 rooms a night. So it's very hard, but we're pushing through. I've got, like I said, great professionals that work with me. We have great partnerships. Mike and Amanda, and I you just can't thank people enough for hanging in there with us and being there for us.
So that's great.
Yeah.
The travel industry is always one of those things that is a couple of industries that are being decimated really by COVID. The small businesses, restaurants, businesses, and the travel industry. Teresa and I have been big cruisers.
Yeah.
We're right. We're big cruisers, right?
Yeah.
How many cruises have we had canceled? And our goal.
Oh God,
is,
I can't even keep up with how
Yeah.
many he's booked and canceled.
Yeah, so they keep canceling on us because our goal is we have 2 sons that work for us in our business, and so our goal is to have them take over for us.
Sure.
So our goal is every year to take more and more vacation to see if they crash the business or not. Now, one time we were on vacation on a cruise ship, and the building caught on fire, but that was okay because they actually put out the fire. They got everything going when we got back. That was the second day of our 9-day cruise.
Wow.
Teresa's like, we're getting off at the next
No.
port and flying back, and I'm like, no, let them handle it.
Yeah.
And and they're 32 and 30, and so they called the insurance adjuster, got everything going, the restoration company and everything, and so by the time we got back, the only thing I had to do was fight with the insurance company, which we all know is going to happen anyhow.
Next time, call us.
Yeah, you weren't in business at that point in time, though. So, but I'll definitely get your card from that standpoint. But yeah, it is interesting. So, what do you think? I think I know the answer for you guys. What's the biggest challenge in your business right now?
I mean, so we look at challenges in a different way.
Okay.
It's more of if there's something that we just really hate that just popped up, we kind of laugh about it, the best we can, because we know we're the guys that have to fix it. There's nobody to call. So
It's a great feeling, though, isn't it?
it's a great feeling. We've kind of
Yeah.
fallen in love with just loving to be the catch-all for the team. So 36 guys, problems, all land here. I'd say the biggest challenge for us immediately is being absolutely present for our team members. We had a lot of people quit their jobs to do this, and they did it in a time that was really a dangerous time to do that. We're talking about people that were engineers, executives,
Logistics people,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
so we wear that weight of, okay, they've got the spouse, the kids on the way. Most of our friends are right at the having children age. So I think the biggest challenge is, as well as it's going, to not let our foot off the gas, because once that happens, this is a cyclical, momentum-driven business where when we do that, even if we've made some good money this year or next year, it's going to affect 60, 70 people all at once. So keeping that in our mind, not taking the easy route at any turn, and keep doing what's working for us.
Yeah, and that's more of like a weight, a responsibility that we feel when we bring someone on with RoofServ. Like it's not just like, hey, let's give this a shot with this guy or this girl. It's like when we interview them, we tell them, if this job doesn't improve your life or make you a better person or just make your life better, then this isn't going to be a good fit for you. Like that is our duty and obligation, is this has to improve your life significantly. Mm-hmm. And so we always carry that burden because it did that for us. And then it did that for our immediate family members that work with us. And then it did that for our immediate friends. And so we just have this streak going on where we don't want to lose someone, like where we have them quit their job and their salaried or their hourly to do 100% commission job, and then that, be a bad decision in their life.
Right.
So we don't want that happening.
Don, you said you thought you knew what the challenge was.
Well, for us and most small businesses, finding good employees.
Yeah.
Right? Because at that point in time, like we have 20. Okay, we don't have 36. We've just got our 20th. And we have 5 core values that we actually look at people and interview based upon it, right? And they're common, but they're a culture that gets built when you have that many people. And a lot of our people are in the office. They're not like out, 3 guys on a crew and stuff like that. They're all sitting together. So our core values are have a positive attitude, have fun being part of a team, be driven, which is the key one, be driven like you guys were talking about. Then provide excellent customer service and take pride in workmanship by providing a quality product. Pretty simple, right? So you're sitting in an interview and I'm saying, hey, here's the culture of this company. And I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, yeah, I have all of those because I'm in a job interview and I'm looking for a job, right? I said, but I'll tell you what, and Teresa's going to hate me for saying this again. I said, we will find out real quickly, probably within a month, whether you have them or not. Because if you don't have them, you're going to be very, very uncomfortable around here, and you're going to wind up being ejected like a virus. And that's not to say that it's because you're a bad person. It's just because you're
That's just not a good fit.
Value set doesn't fit up.
Absolutely.
We've had to let go of some people that were good people that just didn't line up with the values. And if the whole team is built around the values, and you get one person who's not, right, it tends to shift the team.
And it's not always the culture fit, because one that we recently let go, she had all the right culture, the right core values. It's just she wasn't a good fit for the job she was trying to do.
Sure.
So and you got to weigh both of those aspects.
Yeah, and we feel the same way. We come across guys that want to work for us that sell a tremendous amount of roofs, but we always say that our duty is to our raft. If we bring somebody in that may pop that raft, it's a disservice to our team, regardless of whether it'll drive revenue and profits for the company.
And that's growing slowly.
Yeah.
That way we can protect that.
Yeah.
So do you have anything similar?
Yeah, absolutely. Team members are hard to find. Good ones when
Right.
when times are good. And now, believe it or not, even now we're struggling to find team members to bring in to help where we don't have any out there
Right.
that are on furlough or have been released. So that definitely is a challenge here. I mean, we all, when all this started, my entire from myself through my entire executive committee team to all the managers, it's a different way of working now. I mean, I just put this on today, but normally I go get all the garbage and take it out and, go upstairs. And if we have big groups, we have to get the linen down, and we just don't have anybody to do it, so we all do it. I mean, that's part.
So everybody pitches in.
But I started 30 years ago in the business where it was, okay, we need you to work, 7 days in a row, and you'll be working 2 shifts a day. So I was always brought up to work like that. It was just, that's what it does to get the job done. That's what we're going to do to get the job done. And sometimes you don't find that nowadays. That's why I was just curious to ask the fellows here, and I think it's a great concept, and I may not be in a business or wouldn't know that because I couldn't do it in this business, but you said you all brought on mostly people that you've worked with or friends of yours. I think that sounds great, but have we had any conflict yet where there's turmoil amongst friends? I've never had anybody really that's owned their own business. I know a couple of my friends, but they didn't bring people like best friends through college that live together. I'm sure you two could make it happen, but is it hard with everybody else, or is it not that bad?
We actually have a drama-free unit. Like all of our friends, we're
That's great.
low key.
You're very lucky.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
there was in the beginning there was a few some guys like to partner up and sell together.
Sure.
There'd be a little tension there in the beginning, and then they'd have to nail down it was like job responsibilities. One person would be thinking what they're doing is more important than the other, and then we had to explain, because we partnered up when we first started. We worked together selling roofs, and we just had good advice. Hey, this is how you do it. This is how you work together.
But Brett, to your point, I mean, they say, hey, don't work with your friends because you could end some friendships.
Yeah.
Probably 20% of Tom and I's job is just keeping the peace.
I hear you.
So we've got to be like a best friend, but also kind of a parent and kind of a boss all at once.
Right.
To these guys separately, and then bring them together and fix the problems. I will tell you, one of the things that smooths most things over is we're one of the highest paying roofing companies as far as like what we pay our salespeople. Yeah. As a company, we could make a tremendous amount more if we held some more back. But this started as a thing where we didn't believe in the market standard for commission, and this is purely commission job. So bringing all our friends in, it just kind of became this thing where if we can pay them more than anybody else, with fair wage for fair work, and them be happy. I mean, there's little to complain about at that point, other than just little spats here and there that are easy to stomp out.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, because I know that through my course of coming up and whatnot, it's really hard to make relationships for me at work, because when you have to hold people accountable, hey, let's go get a drink every other Monday and Wednesday for 6 weeks, and all of a sudden you've got to hold that person accountable. It's it can cause some
Right.
rift there.
Absolutely.
So I was just curious, and that sounds great. And I wish you guys nothing but best of luck, because I think it's phenomenal, especially if you're making that kind of money in your first. I mean, when did you start? March
1st.
Good for you guys. Congratulations.
And a part of that too, and it just came to my mind. And it's not really like a core value or anything, but it's just something we constantly just talk about and try to exemplify to everyone. It's this, cliche as it sounds, it's this alpha mentality, because they're going out there and
you're right.
you eat what you kill.
Right.
If you don't feel confident that you can do that, then there's going to be problems. So a part of that alpha mentality is everything's your responsibility. So you can't start putting blame and start, that's not that type of mentality. The mentality is like what you were saying, is let's get whatever we have to do to get the job done is what we're going to do, and I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to get it done because I'm being paid the highest commission possible in this industry, and it's worth it.
Yeah, and on that note, see, I like that you said that your team members own it, and that's kind of when you do this for a living. It doesn't matter what brand you work at, right? It's what I want to see for my team, and the way that I like to do it is, if a guest calls downstairs and has an issue, you now own it. You need to listen. You need to get it taken care of. You need to tell people what you're doing, who you're doing it for, and all the way till the end. Not, hey, this guest is unhappy, can you give them a call? Well, no. You've got them. You need to do it. You can handle it. Nothing, I'm going to hold you back. You do what you need to do to get the guest taken care of. So that's good that y'all
It's
have
very
that.
empowering to the employees.
It is, absolutely. I think that's great that y'all are doing it that way.
We try to do it that way, but I will tell you, one of our biggest challenges is keeping, our friends accountable when we do have to have that serious talk.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the standard. We got to put our friendship aside because this is how it is, and it's bigger than.
Well, sometimes it's like a shock going from a salaried position to that, where you can spread blame across the company or the department or whatever it is, and then coming into this where it's 100% you. It can be a shock, so we have to train them in that mentality and get them set up for that, because that's the only way to succeed
That's
to
great.
the highest level.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a drama-free workforce, I want to come work for you. I mean, it's great.
It's not bad.
Talk about working with family, right, Teresa?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of drama there.
We've almost had to fire a son. That would have been great.
No.
That would have been good for Thanksgiving and Christmas
Made
conversations,
Christmas strange.
right? No, and he was young, but it's one of those things where the drama in the workplace, and that's the challenge for my sons, because Teresa and I are a little bit older than our workforce, right? The oldest employee outside of us is 47, okay, and then most of them are in their 20s and 30s, right? So it's kind of hard to not be mom and dad as well as being the owners of the company, right? So that's kind of how they look towards us as well. But I have the same philosophy that Brett has. If you get a call, it's yours. I tell people all the time, I said, listen, there's nothing you can mess up that I can't fix. I mean, it may be costly to fix it, but if you think it's the right thing to do, it's following the core values, it's taking care of the customer, just do it, okay? Because that's what the company is all about, right? It's how the customer perceives you, right? And for us, it's not as much as, can you make a good sign? Well, I was going to ask you guys a question. Can you guys roof a house?
Oh yeah,
You can.
Yeah.
Well, good.
yeah. That's the easy part.
Any house.
You're better than me then, because I can't design a sign, I can't make a sign, and I can't install a sign, because I came from telecom. Teresa and I were in the phone company for 20, 30 years before we started working here and built this company. But what we did is we went ahead and hired professionals that were already in the industry, right, and pieced the team together from that standpoint. This way, if someone asked me to go fabricate a electronic sign, I'm like, well, I really can't do that, but I can go get the customers for you and I can go ahead and run the company for you, but I can't do the other technical stuff. So how was it for you guys? I'm assuming your other job was a white-collar job that you were?
Yeah, it was corporate recruiting.
Okay, so how was it going from a white-collar environment to a blue-collar environment? Because we did the same thing. We went from a truly white-collar business in the telephone company to a blue-collar trade industry in the sign business. So how was the swap for you guys?
It was definitely liberating, you know. I'll tell you, and while you guys think highly of me, my exit from the white collar job wasn't voluntary. I was let go. That basically, long story short, I asked off for vacation. You know, we're big scuba divers and spear fishermen. And I asked off, and they rejected my time off. I'd already bought my plane ticket. I'd already had all these ideas about what we were going to do. So I built a mannequin at my desk with a headset on it, and had a volleyball. They had a volleyball in the office. I didn't bring that.
It's partly their fault for having the volleyball in the office.
Yeah, and they had rubber gloves, really everything I needed to construct this dummy. And my desk was in the corner, and a kind of a neck-high cubicle, so it looked like I was sitting over there, just being a little bit strange with my hood on. And they didn't know I was gone until almost 1 o'clock, and it just said "gone fishing" on a sticky note. I thought it was funny. I even, at the times when I was on Snapchat, I put it on Snapchat, and they had that as evidence when I got back on Monday. I had a fantastic trip. I got back on Monday, and I got a calendar invite that I needed to be met with. And I looked over at Tom, and I was like, hey, don't touch my desk. I want all my stuff. Went in there. They politely told me that they did not think it was as funny as I thought it was. And, I got all my vacation and personal time paid. So it was really something that, I didn't feel in my spirit that I could quit something, but I really just so strongly rejected what I was doing on a daily basis. I think they were asking me to get nurses to quit jobs that were better than the ones I was offering. Oh. So it was just somewhat against my spirit. It wasn't necessarily me just being, a hoodlum. But, towards the end, I was calling nurses saying, hey, if anybody calls you with the jobs I have, don't take it, because what you've got is so much better. This is the long picture for you. And then they didn't like that either. So it was all a God thing. If I had not done that, Tom was actually offered a promotion 2 days later and turned it down, and withdrew from the company. He said, you fired my best friend. I'm out of here. And then we got into roofing approximately 3 weeks later. So funny how things work. Still have the picture of the mannequin. I still think it was a good idea, Oh,
I think it's a great idea. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, wait until one of your employees does that.
Well, that's fine for them. The only thing that comes to mind is Office Space. I love that movie. TPS reports, right?
TPS.
That's right, from that standpoint. Because, corporate America is interesting from that standpoint. But so, can you work for a RoofServ if you went to Georgia Tech?
Oh yeah, my father went to Georgia Tech.
Okay,
and Tom's dad did the pool at Georgia
you can.
Tech.
You just have to be in the corner, and then when we have outings, you get a limit, a spending limit. So you don't get the same as everyone else.
I figured as much. So
yeah, they can still definitely work for us.
And the big question is, really on the the big question is, will Saban retire before Kirby ever beats him? Is a big question. What do you guys think?
Kirby's gonna beat him.
You think so?
Everybody else is 0 for 20. All the assistants. But we're going to get them next time. We were actually there at the SEC championship when Tua threw that ball deep, and we were looking at each other like, man, it is going to happen, but we both knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
So, it was strange.
My nephew is a huge Georgia fan. We were watching the Alabama game a couple of weeks ago when Devontae broke the TD record for Southeastern Conference, right? And he scored a 33rd touchdown. He goes, that breaks the record. And I look at my nephew and I said, do you know where he caught his first touchdown pass? He looks at me. He goes, that wasn't his first one, was it? Oh, yeah, that was his first touchdown pass. He goes,
oh, my gosh.
But it is funny because I went to Alabama, so I'm not a bandwagon fan. I have the degree to show it, right? And a lot of Alabama fans are Alabama fans just to be Alabama fans. But we have houses divided because my son's wife is a Georgia fan, so we'll be in the house watching the Georgia-Alabama game, especially the SEC championship game. Was it 2 years ago? One upstairs, one downstairs, right? And the TV was on a delay.
Oh, no.
So you hear the cheering downstairs.
That's
it's
not
like,
fun.
Damn it. Well, I assume with your culture, you talk a lot about sports and things like that, and a lot of guys from that standpoint. So, and it is a camaraderie thing. You see it all the time in the South. More so, I grew up in New Jersey, and it was all about professional sports up there. Down here, it's really a lot more about collegiate sports, which is kind of fun. I think it's kind of interesting. Although we do have a couple of contracts with the Hawks, and thank the Lord that Hawks are coming back because we put down their court graphics. So we lost.
Oh, that's awesome.
We lost $30,000 in business when the pandemic hit because Hawks didn't play anymore down the Omni. Not the Omni. That's the State Farm Arena. So that helps out, and they're going to start. We're actually putting. They have they're putting down a brand new court, a Martin Luther King court, which is going to be
awesome.
really cool,
Awesome.
and we're going to put the graphics on that one. So
Wow.
that'll be really cool from their standpoint. So
What size is that? Is it?
it's if you ever look at the on TV and you see like Chase in front of the bench on the sidelines, those are the graphics we put
Okay.
down. They're like
cool.
35 foot long, and so when they have games on national TV versus regional TV, they got to change those out. So every time they switch from national TV to regional TV, we got to go down there and change the graphics, which is
That's really cool.
It's a good deal, right? You got to have it's from that standpoint, and they remembered us, because they had given us a contract for $30,000 they couldn't fulfill. They said we don't have the money to fulfill it. But next time we come back, and they called us immediately when they knew what their schedule was going to be, which was great from that standpoint. Again, it's the customer service aspect, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what I heard from you, Brett, and Tom, and Brendan is that it is customer service, right? And everybody says customer service, and I find that interesting. And what sets you apart? Customer service. I mean, who doesn't say customer service? Except for the guys who say low price, right? And so I would assume that you guys are not low price, right?
We're probably
Competitive, but not lowest.
We're absolutely competitive. We're probably higher middle. We install the most expensive architectural shingle you can install because it is the best product.
So how do you convince your salespeople that if they get underbid by someone else, it's not a bad thing?
Well, we just tell them to keep moving on. If someone wants to go with the low bid, that was their narrative the whole time. So, we try to explain where we're going to be at before we even cross that bridge, so they know.
Yeah, well, your industry is a lot like ours. There's a lot of people who are one-man shows.
Yeah.
And they might have insurance, they might not have insurance, they may have a license, they may not have a license. And it's kind of tough to compete on price with someone like that, but you guys will always be there, right?
Yeah.
And that's what really counts from their standpoint.
Right.
So 2021, what do you think's the big challenge for Sonesta and your brand in 2021 besides COVID?
That's it. I mean, that really it's it, Don. If like I said, if the business traveler doesn't come back, we're going to struggle for a while. I mean, we are starting to get some of our group business that we lost. They're going to start coming back in January, which is a good thing. But we just got to get past the hurdle, and once we do, I think things will really take off. Adding all these properties on with us, as you all, and I'll just put it to you this way: as you all know, everybody is a rewards member, right? Whatever, Kroger, Marriott, Hilton, Sonesta. Okay, so the question is, if you're a business traveler, do you stay at a place that when you go to visit your parents or your grandparents, where there's maybe 5 hotels there, Marriott, whatnot, but there's not a Sonesta, who are you going to stay with to pick up those points that's going to pay for it later down, get you a free stay down the road. So adding all these to our rewards program, having those extra properties will certainly be a big boost. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about going to some of them too, where I can stay, and the team can stay for a huge discount. And once we get through it and get the vaccine going and people back out traveling, I think we're going to come back just fine. But it's been a rough go at it so far.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure it has been for everybody.
Well,
but
except for RoofServ, who's gotten
Well,
$5
that's
million
true.
in 9 months. So is next year $10 million? What's your goal?
Yeah, we're
Absolutely, yeah.
If you look at our last 4 months compared to our first 5 months, we're doing almost double monthly than we were then. So yeah, it's absolutely 10 million. Our sales team is tripled in the last 4 months. So we're excited. I think the biggest challenge for us is, even though we've done it, when we work with the residential folks and it's a one-time touch point, because we do a great job. There's no leaks or anything like that. It's not getting comfortable, and not being present there for each sale, because we've done, Tom and I together now almost 1,500 roof changes personally, in our personal sales. So I think just keeping it interesting and fun, and being there for our guys and upholding those oaths to them of, when they left their positions to do this, and making everything incredibly transparent. That's something, math doesn't change. So if you sell a really profitable job, that's reciprocated to you in your pay. So just always keeping that aspect. And then, we're a faith-based company, so keeping God first.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Always.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then one other little factor that is slowing us down, just on the COVID subject, kind of things that are inhibiting our business, is, as weird as it sounds, it's the shingle color selection right now. So the manufacturer's only producing like 3 colors when we had about 10 to choose from. And just so when someone wants that color and they're dead set on it, it could take another month to 2 months before we can get that color in.
It's truly amazing how the COVID has affected all supply chain in
Yeah.
almost every industry.
Definitely supply chain. That's the biggest thing that we see, and it kills us, because we'll have a schedule set out, we'll order the material, and then our supplier will call us, hey, we're out of that, a truck's not coming with that color for another 2 weeks. And then we got to tell the homeowner. Sometimes they're understanding, sometimes they're not.
It's like our guest here. We not enough business to open the bar, not enough business to open the restaurants. We're basically just doing grab-and-go breakfast, and we've removed just about everything you can touch out of the room, the pad, the pen, the laundry bag, and all those things. Some guests get it, and some guests don't get it and don't understand why is it like this? Why, or why is the restaurant not open? So I have to go, politely, if it was your business and, your payroll was $400 over there for the day and your sales was $100, can you take a loss of $300 a day for 10 months? You can't do that, And we posted it everywhere. And, some, like I said, some guests get it, some don't. I wouldn't find it that way in the, shingle industry, but now I'm thinking, well, yeah, they probably had to cut back too, because, the first couple of months really put everybody in a bind. So it's interesting to know, but you try to explain it as nice as you can, and offer other alternatives. So I feel you guys on that. Yeah.
So if customers wanted to reach you, how do they reach RoofServ?
They can look us up online. They can. We have great reviews, Yelp. We're local, so it's really easy to get a hold of us, and someone always answers the phone. It's an immediate thing. This is not like they're going to go to a voicemail.
Yeah, just Google RoofServ with no E. If you go to our page, we have a schedule an appointment or a questions tab. So even if it's just a question about why something looks some way, our inspections are free, and we get on more roofs than we actually encourage to get the insurance involved, because not every roof needs to be replaced. So just for peace of mind, to have us out is an incredible benefit. We provide a report. We're refreshingly non-pushy when it comes to the follow-up. It's, hey, this is your scenario. This is how we see it playing out. It's absolutely up to you what you'd like to do, which I think is unique to our industry. So I think people respond well to that. But yeah, website or phone, and just no calls after 10, which I feel the need to say because it happens all the time.
Wow. And how about for Sonesta? How do guests find you?
The easiest way would be Sonesta.com. That way you can check out all of our lovely properties that we have all over the
Okay.
country, or you can call the hotel 770-923-1775 or stop by. We're more than happy to take the guest around and show them what we have.
Awesome.
And explain what we're doing as far as COVID protocol goes and how we're cleaning things and our time frames and things like that. So yeah, we don't service rooms if guests are staying more than, if they're staying less than 7 days. So then we'll take them up towels and sheets, but we just don't service the room unless, we need you to come up and service it. And we'll do that for them. But, yeah, we've changed the way that we're doing business like everybody else is. So.
Yeah.
But that's the easiest way, Sonesta.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you all for joining us on Reaching the Summit presented by Pinnacle Custom Signs. Get a more prominent look with your business signage. To see how we can help your business reach the summit, visit us on our website at pinnaclecustomsigns.com or on any of our other social media channels. Remember, you could also enjoy any of our episodes at any time by visiting Business RadioX, selecting the Gwinnett Studio, and then click on Reaching the Summit. You can also find us on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, or any of your other favorite podcast applications. Until next time, for Pinnacle Custom Signs, I'm Teresa Conklin, and with my husband Don, you've been listening to Reaching the Summit on Business Radio X. Hope you have a great day.